Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So today I wanted to talk about the manufacturing location of the Toyota Tacoma. If you have a Tacoma, you likely know that back in 2021, Toyota transitioned 100% of all the manufacturing of it to Mexico. And I'm going to mispronounce it, but I'll still try. So it's Guanajuato, I think is how you say it. That is the location for the plant that is producing the Toyota Tacoma. The goodness is, I would argue, let me start with the good, then maybe shift toward the bad. The good, I think, is this particular plant down in Mexico only makes the Tacoma. So, I mean, let that sink in. Sometimes when you get multiple vehicles coming out of the same plant, I think that could perhaps hinder the quality control a little bit if you got multiple vehicles rolling out the same-ish assembly line. Whereas this, they're totally dedicated to the Toyota Tacoma down there, and I think that ultimately serves as a benefit and makes sure, it ensures that they are making the top-notch, top-quality product rolling out their assembly line. So, and if you've seen any photos of it, any video of that manufacturing plant down there, it really is state-of-the-art. It is totally state-of-the-art. I mean, I think it was produced back in, December 2019, is, if I recall correctly from what I read. That is when they started production down there. And, they slowly started transitioning the Tacoma to that plant, right? I think in 2020, I think maybe 2020, I forget, roughly 60% of all Toyota Tacomas were produced out of Mexico, with the remaining 40%-ish being produced out of San Antonio, Texas still. So yeah, they used to be entirely out of San Antonio, we remember that, and they had been for years, whereas they transitioned, strictly to the Tundra and the Sequoia out of San Antonio there, if I recall correctly off the top of my head. So, I don't know, what do you guys think? I think oftentimes, and I think unfortunately, we often chalk up products being made in Mexico to being, less quality. Unfortunately, I think we often do that. But I mean, based off everything that I've read and seen out of that particular plant, I do think that they are, producing exceptional quality products. And just looking at this one here, I couldn't tell you a single difference between this and my 2019 that I had and my 2017 before that. They look the same, exceptional quality control throughout, in my personal opinion. Now, is it on par with any, like a 4Runner? 4Runner is still being produced out of Japan. Is it on par with that? I don't know. Personally, and again, this is where my bias shines through too, I personally think, it's a Japanese brand, Toyota. If it is still made in Japan, that is a huge win, right? Just like it's a huge win to have a GM product or a Ford product built entirely out of the United States. I think that's a big win. As we take tremendous pride in our own vehicles, right? Our own manufactured vehicles. So would I still argue that the 4Runner and of course the Land Cruiser are higher quality than this? Yes, I would do that. And again, guys, remember, I own this one here, so I'm trying to be critical to some degree. But I don't think we should chalk, there's people out there who argue, made in Mexico, it's got to be garbage. No way. So I do think that they do an exceptional job down there, and they take tremendous pride in being one of the leaders now. They're starting to become one of the leaders in vehicle manufacturing. If you start researching it, they are really becoming, developing a positive reputation, I think, in the industry. So I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are. Do you think that this is a huge splash or a huge negative or a positive for it? Because when you look at the numbers, I forget what the numbers were entirely. I think last year they produced just over 250,000, right around there, Toyota Tacomas total. And when you compare that to the 140,000-ish, 145,000-ish Toyota 4Runners, that's pretty crazy. Over 100,000 more. So, I don't know, if you see 4Runners everywhere, and of course you see Tacomas everywhere. They are the most popular mid-sized truck, and for good reason. So I think there's good and bad with them, quote-unquote, overproducing this platform, this truck. So, I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth on it. I personally take more pride in driving Toyota 4Runners around. You guys know that. Just given the fact that it is still one of the very, very few Toyota vehicles, SUVs, trucks that's actually produced in Japan still. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you're one of the folks who's extra critical of it moving to Mexico. And I guess I'll leave you on this note. So the biggest way to actually determine if your Tacoma was built in Mexico, you know, obviously before now, all of them are built down there now for 2022, 21. But before that, as they're making the transition, making the shift, you can tell by looking at the VIN number. If your VIN number starts with the number 5, it was built out of Texas. If it starts with the number 3, it was built in Mexico. So I'll leave it at that. Sorry I kind of rambled a little bit in this video, but let me know what your thoughts are. Appreciate you watching as always. Till next time.